David Ornstein has confirmed Manchester United will be selling one of their big names in the wage bill, but it looks like 6 or 7 players are set to follow in 2024, with United doing their biggest clear out ever. They're ready to get rid of the deadwood, they're ready to get rid of the players, they're ready to lose money on said players. Even players like Wan-Bissaka, his contract is being stalled. What could be going on? We've also got reports, news and information coming out that Marcus Rashford is unhappy with Ten Hag and Ten Hag's methods. Now, to be honest, I would take that news story with a pinch of salt. I think that Rashford's an easy target at the moment, but we will dive into that. And then we've got the latest on the injury. Will Casemiro be back soon? Amad Diallo, Martinez, and more. So please do hit that like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new. So let's get into the first story. Manchester United do not intend to activate the option to extend Martial's contract when it expires at the end of the season. As things stand, the United hierarchy are expected to let him leave as a free agent in the summer unless offers arrive in January. Oh my days. Man United making the right decision for a change. Well done. I was expecting United to extend this for a year just to see if they could get a bit of money for him in the summer, when we probably won't because of his injury record, because of his wages, and he just stays for another year on high wages. Get rid in the summer. I like Martial. I've backed Martial. I've wanted Martial to do well, but you've got to get rid of him in the summer. Like, you have to. You cannot extend his contract. It would be us making the same mistake that we've made with multiple players over and over again, because I just stay for a year thinking, well, I'm not even going to get half the wages anywhere else, so I might as well just, sit on the bench and with the wages. So Man United officially making a smart decision, and that's confirmed by Ornstein. Ornstein's confirmed Martial leaves. Martial leaves Man United in 2024. But he won't be one of the only players leaving United in 2024. It looks like it's going to be a big clear out. Luckhurst did say that financial fair play rules have prompted United to become more proactive sellers through club sources insist no player will be forced out, and Erik ten Hag does not want to sanction sales that would weaken the squad, but United are going to be sort of more proactive when it comes to selling. It was said that Man United do not expect a mass exodus next month, but have decided to alert clubs to certain players' availability well in advance of the summer window. So United is saying, look, we're not going to get rid of loads of players, and we're not saying they have to go, but we're just going to let you know which players are available ahead of the summer, just to make it a bit easier. So who are those players? Well, first of all, we know that Jadon Sancho is basically one, and he'll definitely go in January. I can't see him staying in January, considering he's not going to play and he refuses to play. But it was said, although Erik ten Hag has implied Jadon Sancho could return to the fold if he apologises, club sources insist that Sancho still likely will be moved on next month. So the first one is Sancho, but it was said that Manchester United are open to selling Varane, Casemiro, Martial, Sancho and Donny van der Beek in January. I'd personally add Lindelof and McTominay to the mix, but we don't seem to be doing that just because I don't think they're good enough, but they're key at the moment apparently. As well, it was said that Varane wants to stay at United, but feels he could be forced out after making one start in 13 games. And this is what frustrates me. Maguire made about one start in 13 games last season, but isn't like forced out and can stay and all of this and that and chooses to stay. But Varane doesn't get minutes, he's got to go. But when Maguire gets minutes, we can stay. When McTominay doesn't get minutes, we can stay. A lot of players that didn't get minutes last season are staying, and they're now getting a lot of minutes this season, but that doesn't mean they're good enough. Like, Maguire's having a very good season. He's probably been our best player this season, and well done to him. But in the long term, he needs to go. In the short term, I think McTominay needs to go because he holds us back. And yes, they're playing a lot now, but I'd sell McTominay this year. I'd give Maguire another year or two until we sort out other problems, and then they need to go. Why is it that Varane and Casemiro have to go as soon as they start dropping off or not playing as well? I mean, I'm not saying that they should stay, but I'm saying that if Varane drops off, we should go. Casemiro drops off, we should go. But surely Maguire should have gone last season, McTominay should have gone last season. We need to apply the same standards to every player, not just the big name players. Interestingly, it was also said discussions regarding a new contract for Wan-Bissaka reached an impasse. And to be honest, I think with Wan-Bissaka, give him a 1-year extension and sort of assess how he does over the next year, because I think there's a good player in Wan-Bissaka. I think as a second choice right back, he's always a good option to have, because 1-on-1 he can defend anyone in the world. And I like Wan-Bissaka here as a squad player, and I would definitely keep him here for the next year or two of the project. But within the 5-year project, does Wan-Bissaka make it? Not particularly. There's players like Maguire and Wan-Bissaka that I don't mind seeing here next season, because I can see what kind of quality they add. But players like McTominay, Donny van der Beek, Martial, I don't want here next season. Don't particularly want Anthony here next season. He's not one of the names listed. But obviously United are having a bit of a froze with Wan-Bissaka's contract. If they give Lindelof a new contract and not Wan-Bissaka, I'll be fuming. Lindelof, why don't we get rid of Lindelof? either give him a 1 year extension and sell him, or get rid. I don't think Lindelof's good enough, to be honest. I've said that. He's scared of defending. I would be looking to move on Lindelof. But continuing on, what is sort of the transfer front? So we discussed this first bit in my live stream last night, but it was said by Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United are expected to do something in the January transfer window despite Ten Hag's comments. Behind the scenes, the scouting department and people in charge of the club and Erik Ten Hag have discussed potential signings for Donyell Marlin, Girassi and Timo Werner, all been discussed internally for a new striker. They're also looking at centre-backs, but a lot of that will depend on the Martinez injury situation. Basically, Girassi is the only striker that right now that's in good form, and Girassi right now is the best striker out of the three. But is he a purple patch player? Is he a player that's having a good 6 months and will come to United and be crap because he was crap before that? That's the big risk there. Timo Werner is probably most suited to the style of play at United, but he's all pace, no end product, and we're seeing that that's not really working because a lot of our attackers are all pace, no end product at the moment, and he can't score goals. And Marlin's just not good enough. Look, if it means you get rid of Sancho and one of these guys replaces them, at least we've got someone that's available. But it's like we've got Højlund, and then we've got Martial, and then we've got Marlon. It would just be like meh. It would just be so meh. This is lower Premier League players. And I'm at the point now where instead of spending 15 million on Werner, Girassi or Marlon, just because you want to support striker for Højlund to the end of the season, if you can't get someone good in, don't get anyone at all, and maybe spend 38 million on Todibo instead and just spend that extra money in January. Because I want us to be signing players that are part of the 5 year, 6 year long-term project, not players that are going to do a bit part job for 6 months, because I think we've done that so many times and then they're just not good enough. I think, why don't we sign players that we actually see here in 5 years, like Todibo, and just say, you know what, Højlund is going to be a difficult end to the season attack-wise, but in the summer we're going to get you the real support striker that we want. Or maybe someone like Taremi would be a better option as well. It was said that United are interested in swapping Jadon Sancho for Barcelona's Rafinha, according to Sport. However, Sport are one of those sources where they're just so iffy. They're very much like Man United, Barcelona, particularly Barcelona, gets clicks, generates clicks, let's report some crap story. From what I'm hearing, there's not many big sides interested in signing Sancho. I don't know what's going to happen. It'd be nice to do a bit of a swap deal and get someone good in return. Not totally against Rafinha. I know he's not been great, but at least he's available. At least there could be a decent right winger there. But I can't see Barcelona going for Sancho with the attitude problems, in all honesty. I don't think there's much in that story, but I think Sancho will go. Now, I want to get into this report, and it was said by Football Insider that Man United dressing room mutiny talks hold as report claims one star is at the heart of rebellion, and that Marcus Rashford is reportedly unhappy with Erik Ten Hag. Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford is one of a number of players frustrated with Ten Hag and his methods. Now, this report is saying that Rashford's at the heart of the Ten Hag rebellion. I disagree with that. I'm going to be honest here. Rashford has been crap. Rashford's attitude has not been good enough. Rashford's work rate has not been good enough. But I would take this report with a massive pinch of salt, which is one of the reasons I wanted to report it, so I could say this. Because I think it's so easy now, because of Rashford and Martial's poor work rate versus Newcastle, to write these reports painting out that Rashford and Martial are at the heart of the dressing room, the heart of the dressing room rebellion. We don't know what's going on. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's a point where Marcus Rashford's at a low. His work rate is appalling. He should be criticised for his work rate. There is dressing room problems. But Romano said that Rashford is very happy. Ten Hag's always been very positive and spoke of Rashford in a positive way. He's not been completely dropped. I don't think Marcus Rashford is causing big dressing room issues. I don't think he's causing big problems. I just think it's an easy report to say that Rashford is causing big problems. I think Rashford is unhappy with his form. I think he's frustrated with himself, but I don't think he's one of the players looking to throw Ten Hag under the bus. I just think that he's a little bit selfish sometimes, and his work rate's a bit poor. So I'm going to be honest, I'm going to get into this report and what it says. But I don't think, Marcus Rashford is the one guy causing all the dressing room issues. He might be one of many players causing dressing room issues, but I think him and Martial are quite easy targets right now because of just their body language in the recent games. I don't know who's causing the issues. I don't know who's causing the problems, and it could be Rashford, but I'm just saying I think it's so easy to predict that it's him that I think some stories lose credibility. But it also said this. Football Insider claimed that Marcus Rashford, who's only scored 2 goals this season, is at the heart of the dressing room mutiny as tempers fray and stars rebel at Old Trafford. It is understood that the mutiny has now reached fever pitch, with Rashford among the players unhappy with Ten Hag's methods this season. Rashford and other Man United stars have lost faith in the manager and believe he cannot get the best out of his players at his disposal. And the England international does not like the style of play implemented by the Dutchman, is not as fan of his training methods. I believe that part of that is true. I believe that Rashford's unhappy. I think he doesn't like the way we're playing because it doesn't suit him. I think Rashford's not happy with himself. And I think Rashford's a number of players that's probably said something to Ten Hag is unhappy. I don't think he's causing a mutiny in the dressing room like the report wants to make out, but I think that he's unhappy. I think you can tell he's unhappy. Rashford said when he's unhappy, he doesn't play as well. Well, he's clearly unhappy because he ain't playing as well. He speaks about how when he's happy off the pitch, he's better on the pitch. He's clearly not happy. He's clearly frustrated with Ten Hag, but I don't know if he's causing a dressing room mutiny, to be honest. I don't like to follow those kind of stories along. But Rashford needs to fix up. He needs to sort himself out and he needs to work a lot harder, I will say that. It was also said that Casemiro started training on the pitch as the Brazilian steps up recovery for United, but like I said, that Casemiro is sidelined till Christmas with a hamstring problem, and with a drastic drop-off in form and fitness issues, Man United might look at the market to see if there's a sort of any options available for him. I think if we get a good offer in, I think we wouldn't say no to selling Casemiro. Amad Diallo is back in training and might be ready to sort of play in the coming weeks, but United, he's been out for a while. United are going to gouge that in very slowly. Mason Mount and Eriksen are expected back within the next 2 weeks. It could be next week, could be the week after. Martinez is expected back in January. Malacia, he's had another setback with his surgery, and again, Malacia is not expected back till January. So I do feel a bit sorry for Malacia. He's been out for a very long time. But anyway, people, that is all the latest Manchester United news. Oh, no, it's not. I got one more story. Following Everton's 10-point deduction for breaching Premier League profitability and sustainability rules, figures at United are believed to be baffled by the prospect of more extravagant spending by Chelsea. Essentially, Man United are following FFP, but concerned that it doesn't seem to apply to Chelsea and Manchester City. Right, so that is the end of today's video. Please do hit that like button if you have not already. Subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. See you next time.